Hey everyone, it's Nikki. Welcome or welcome back. Today is part of a playlist called 5 Under 5, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. So for our first project today, I took these slats you can find at the Dollar Tree, and they come in like a pack of 5. And I'm going to find the center with my ruler, and then I'm going to go from the upper right and left hand corners and use my ruler to make lines down to the center point. And this is going to end up being like a very wide triangle. And off camera, I took it to my scroll saw and then I sanded everything down. Then I grabbed 2 more of those planks, a popsicle stick, or should I say a craft stick, cut in half. I glued those down to connect both pieces using some hot glue. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to glue this triangle down to the top using some Titebond Quick and Thick and a little bit of hot glue, and now it resembles an envelope. I did add a couple of clamps and set it off to the side for like, 10 minutes, and then I'm going to paint the whole thing with Waverly's chalk paint in the color Plaster, and I just added a little bit of water to get that paint moving around. And then this deer came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going over the whole thing with some antique wax, and this was like 99 cents, 50% off. And then this carbon copy paper I've had in my stash for a very long time, and I took a piece of that and I made this print on Canva that says you'll go down in history. And I'm going to use my nail dotting tool to transfer that image onto my envelope. And then I'll take my paint marker and go over all the letters. And I didn't realize that I had missed the H and the I in history until it was done with writing N. But I took that paper and went back over to transfer the letters. And this Rudolph image came from the DIY struggle last Christmas, and I added that right to the top of my envelope, and just using my craft stick here to transfer that image over. And then I added this small little circle to mimic postage. And then I took this little berry and glued that to mimic his nose. And Rudolph does need a big shiny nose. I'm not entirely sure where this thread came from, but I'm adding this to the top of what would be the flap of my envelope using some Aleene's tacky glue because that dries clear, and I think this pairs well with Rudolph's nose nicely. And then I took another piece of a craft stick, glued that on the back of Rudolph. He needed to be elevated a little bit because of the envelope flap, just so everything kind of sits as even as it can. And then once I got Rudolph glued down, I added this cute little bow. You can find these at Hobby Lobby. I just love to add these to my projects, and added a little bit of distress ink, and that is it. This came out super cute and only cost a few dollars to make, and you don't necessarily need a Cricut. You could always get some carbon copy paper or do it the old-fashioned way of scribbling the back with a pencil. All right, as I mentioned earlier, this is the 5 Under 5 challenge. This is Christmas song inspired this month, and it's hosted every month by Emily at Farm Charm Chic. And our guest host this month is Buffy Designs. So be sure to check out these ladies, and I'll have everyone listed down below. So check out the playlist. All right, for project number 2, I picked up this little box at Dollar Tree. It's actually been in my stash forever, like at least a few years. The packaging that I'm using came from Amazon. It comes in, I save all my Amazon packaging because it's just so handy to use like when I'm painting or as a filler for whatever. And then I used a glue stick, and I'm going to wrap this box like it's a gift, and I'm going to do the lid and the base both separately. So that way it will open easily, because I'm probably going to end up using this to hold a Christmas present later. And so I wanted to keep it functional. I'm going to go pretty fast on this so you can just see what I'm doing. There's some imperfections, but that's fine. This is a 5 under 5 challenge, and in my eyes, not everything needs to be perfect, and this isn't necessarily how I wrap my presents, but for this, I just don't want the cover to be too tight. I want to be able to pull it off easily, so I wrapped it a little differently than I would. But while I'm putting this together, I just wanted to share that this idea for this project came from Sammy Davis Jr.'s song, The Gingerbread Man, and it's actually one of my favorite songs. So if you've heard it, I'd love to know. And if you like it, let me know too. I don't often hear it on the radio. I have to pull it out of my playlist. But my all-time favorite Christmas song is Snowman, and it's by Sia. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Sia. So check that out. But I just wanted to take a moment and say hello and thank you for being here. I really appreciate you dropping by my channel today, and I hope that you're enjoying this so far. So as you saw, my lid fits perfectly, and I'm going to draw on little houses. I started with this paint marker first, and even though it's uh, fine tipped, it's not fine enough for me. So I took out this artist brush and a little white chalk paint and began drawing on my little houses and all the little squiggly designs. And I just like the, soft, not bold look, because I'm always chasing that vintage feel. And I just like the way this looks so much better. There's just something about brown paper packages tied up with strings. It's really one of my favorite things. I actually don't buy wrapping paper. I buy craft paper, and that's what I do is I wrap all my presents, and I do a lot of gingerbread designs on my gifts. I love it. It always makes people smile. I also wanted to let everyone know that I have a series going on right now. It's my I Love Christmas series, and I just posted my second video yesterday morning on the 4th. So be sure to check that out. I share all kinds of DIYs here, but I especially love working with clay and molds. And I'm currently working towards my goal of 2,000 subscribers by January 1st, 2026. And so that's not only New Year's Day, that's also my oldest son's 26th birthday. He's a millennium baby, and I think it would just be so much fun to have a triple celebration. So I hope you'll join me and be a part of this journey with me. So as you can see, I'm adding a little bit of twine and crossed it over itself and brought it back up the sides and tied it off into a little bow. And I like my ties to be draping. And as you can see, I added a little bit of the lyric to the top where it says, "Fresh cut out of the pan, sweet gingerbread man." I would sing it for you, but I have a horrible voice. All right, on to project number 3. I used this Dollar Tree clipboard, and I printed a music sheet from Etsy. It's Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I crumpled the paper up to give it that old vintage time-worn look, and then I'm gonna use some glue sticks to attach it to my clipboard. This is a really inexpensive project. It only takes a few minutes to put together, and it looks so cute. I'm going to use a glue stick, and I never use them. I mean, like for years, I despised them, and I thought they were such a waste. But watching Kristen Kay and her, sharing her love for glue sticks, I decided to try them. And hook, line, sinker, I'm hooked. And I absolutely love using them. I just find burnishing with my hands, just using the warmth of my hands really does help that glue to adhere nicely. So let me know, do you like glue sticks, or are you like me, just hated them? Yeah. I use them a lot. But although I don't think they're useful for napkins, I think that's just a nightmare. Okay, so this greenery came from Goodwill. I think this is so pretty. I couldn't believe I paid like $2 for this huge bundle. It's actually on my table. That greenery you see there for staging is the same greenery that I'm using in this. So I used a little bit of hot glue and glued it to the very top because I don't want to cover the title to the song. And then use this vintage style ribbon that came from Amazon. And I'm not tying it all fancy. I'm just tying it off into a bow. And I'm gonna trail the ties like off to the side and just tack them into place using some hot glue. And these pretty berries I got from Hobby Lobby. I think the bag was like $2.99. Maybe it was $3.99. I am sorry, I forget, but I got it last year and I feel like I used it a lot last year, but then I took it out of my stash and I was like, holy moly, there's so much of this. And I got it like 40 or 50% off. I don't pay full price for anything. I just don't. Not when you can pay less for something. And so I cut off the metal wire and made two bundles, one on each side, bundles of three. And that's all I really did to this. I mean, you could get real fancy and decoupage it and maybe tear the sides to give it that more organic look. But I think this is so pretty. I didn't bother sealing it in because, I like to tear things apart and repurpose them, especially if they're for myself. So maybe I'll use it for something else. These really cute vintage Santa Clauses came from Hobby Lobby. There's so many in the package. I don't know how much I have in there, but I think he's just so cute. And this is how it came out. This is a simple reminder that you don't need to spend a bunch of money to make something pretty for your home for the holidays. Let me know what you think of this one. All right, on to our next project. I used these Dollar Tree square planks and I'm going to glue them together to make a box. And I'm using Titebond Quick and Thick and a little bit of wood glue. And I'm also using these small blocks that you can get from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to glue these into all four corners to help with stability. And everything I used today was already in my stash, either thrifted or Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby finds, so I didn't have to buy anything new. I'm pretty frugal with my craft supplies. Honestly, my biggest investments are my molds and my transfers. I'm speeding this up so you can see what I'm doing, but I do leave the bottom of my box open. I'm not really worried about anything falling out through the bottom because when I get my foam put in there, my foam kind of, when I push it down, it pushes into the blocks. And then once I put in like my florals and greenery and stuff, that also, because of the way the florals set, I don't know how to explain it. It won't fall through because the greenery fills it up nicely. All right. This pretty paper I'm using came in a bag of cardstock that I found at Goodwill. Oh my goodness, I have so much of it. So I was watching Ellen J. Goods here on YouTube the other day, and she showed this trick for cutting rice paper, without needing to measure. And it's brilliant. And all you're doing is just sanding off the edges, and it fits perfectly. My mind is blown. I'm going to use this for years to come. And the cardstock that I chose had pretty lyrics all over it, and all kinds of like Christmas songs is what I'm saying. And I also chose this little image that says tidings of comfort and joy. So I'm going to add that onto it as well. And again, using a glue stick. And I also used my brayer to help burnish everything down smoothly. I love all versions of Christmas. Traditional, pink, Grinch, shabby chic. I adore them all. What kind of Christmas do you like? Let me know. I'm adding this vintage style ribbon to the sides of my box, or to the corners, should I say, and using some Aleene's tacky glue. That way it'd be nice and tidy. It dries clear, and it dries quite quickly, so I can keep moving, just finishing this project. And I think I paid like $6 and I got 4 colors. I got the gold, red, green, and like a white iridescent color. I think they're so pretty, and they look really nice on ornaments as well. Then I added some floral foam, and it does set right into some of those blocks, and it's quite secure. And then this greenery came from Amazon last year, so I'm going to put a bunch of them in there. There's so many that comes in a box. They're really stuck together. And then that other greenery you see off to the side, I got at Hobby Lobby last year. I think it was like $1.99 a pick, but then I got it 90% off. So I just paid pennies for it. And then there's a snowflake you see off to the side. I also got that 90% off. So if you can go at the end of the season, I know a lot of people are strapped for money at the end because Christmas is so pricey, but if you can, it really is the best time of the year to go. And right now, Hobby Lobby, everything is 50% off. So that itself is a steal. But I really like how this box is coming together. I added some more of that greenery that I used earlier. And then this little pick that's got like sparkly gold. It goes well with all the gold in the paper. And then this ribbon I got at Michael's last year, 75% off. So I'm going to wrap that around my box and tie it off into like a side bow. I think this ribbon is so pretty. It's like velvet and it's soft. I absolutely love the pinks and the teals in this piece. I just think it turned out so cute. Of course, if you were to buy the greenery at full price, it could get a little pricey, but I think I stayed right around the $5 mark, or at least pretty close to it. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments. As always, I know Hobby Lobby has a whole aisle full of pastel and gingerbread decor right now, and I just can't get enough of it. It's so sweet and whimsical. All right, for our last DIY, I'm going to make a snow globe. I'm drilling a hole in the bottom of it. And these fairy lights I buy in bulk from Amazon. I have so many of them. I make a lot of snow globes this time of year. I gift them to my friends, and I also make ones with water and glitter inside them. Those are a lot of fun to make too. I just ran the lights up through that hole, grabbed 2 tumbling tower blocks, and I'm gluing them to this ornament I got at Walmart last season on sale for 75% off. So I added those tumbling tower blocks to give it some elevation, and then I'm wrapping the fairy lights all around those blocks, and then I'm gonna tie them off so they stay put. I love these lights, how you can kind of fasten them to themselves. and a boatload of hot glue and setting that right onto the base of my snow globe. I'm going to take a few of these trees that come from the Dollar Tree, and I reuse these a lot. So some of these I've had for so many years. And you know, if you take a heat gun to them, as long as you keep the heat moving, you can fluff them up a little bit. Emily showed me that trick on one of her videos. She does it with leaves, but it does work for bottle brush trees as well. And then there's a faux snow. I'm going to pour inside my globe, and I don't know how I did it, but I poured the right amount the first time around. And it was a little tricky to get the base on, but I got it on and I screwed it into place and it was perfect. And then this was a hat, and I've used it for a bunch of DIYs. My sister brought me home a bunch of them from the Family Dollar, and I'm going to wrap this around the base. I realized my snowman doesn't have a scarf, but this is supposed to resemble Frosty's scarf. And just a little hot glue, and I'm going to wrap it around the back, and then I'm not going to overlap it. I'm just going to cut it off so it's nice and clean. I'm adding a little hot glue just to make sure my fairy lights don't go anywhere. And then I went on Canva and printed "I'll be back again someday," and I'm gonna glue that right onto the very front using some Aleene's tacky glue. This project would be so much fun to make with your kids, and these snow globes are always plentiful at the Dollar Tree. My store usually has a bunch of them left over at the end of the season, so make sure to grab yourself some while you can. Just look at how cute this turned out. It's absolutely precious, and I love it so much. Let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. And here's a quick little recap of everything that we made today. Be sure to check out everyone in the playlist. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll have them linked down below. And I really hope that I inspired you today. Let me know if you try making any of these projects yourself. And if you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. I have so many fun projects to share with you this season. Oh, and don't forget to tell me what your favorite Christmas song is in the comments. I'd love to know. A big thank you to Emily for hosting this every month and Buffy for co-hosting this month. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Until the next one, bye.